Welcome to Marvellous Women, the podcast. I'm Samantha Rush. I'm the creator of Marvellous Women Cards, the host of this podcast, and you may have heard me singing in the introduction. On this episode, I'm joined by Cass Barker. Cass is an eclectic person who's really passionate about embracing both the light and the dark. Enjoy. Welcome to Marvellous Women, the podcast. On this episode, we have the fantastic Cass Barker. Cass, welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Yes, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm super excited to have you here, mostly because we've known each other for a long time, but I haven't seen you in about 10 years. So to say that I'm curious is probably an understatement.
Yeah. No, there's been a lot happening that time too. Gosh, that was a time that you and I knew each other.
That was
It was like a totally different time.
It was a different time.
Big time of learning, big time of achievement. And then, yeah, you've just gone on and done even more amazing things since that time too.
As have you. And I can't wait to hear all about them. We will have a lunch date after this.
Yeah, good. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack. Cass, let's start with one of my favorite questions to ask anyone, which is, who are you?
Who am I? Wow. Yeah. I'm Cass. I am unapologetically Cass, particularly these days. I am Capricorn Sun, Gemini Rising, Aries Moon. Very a poetic way of saying that I appear super calm and composed on the outside, but I'm internally running about 400 tabs at once. Creativity runs through everything that I do. I approach everything with it. I have a very finely tuned sensitivity to energy with people and energy in a space, in a room. Sometimes it's a gift and it does allow me to be very good at my job, but sometimes it is information overload, but it is how I approach and how I process the world. And it always has been. My passions are intrinsically and eclectic. So music, contemporary art, storms and the weather. I get high from an oncoming storm. The wilder the better. Cinema, literature, food, and dogs, especially my chocolate labradoodle, Matilda. So I really love movies, big, like atmospheric films, one of those, the ones that kind of linger afterwards. So anything A24, anything like really cerebral or unsettling, anything beautifully strange. And I tend to like those sort of books as well. So lots of Murakami. June by Frank Herbert's probably my favorite book of all time. I also love the movies. Yeah, I'm a classic extrovert, but I also I also fiercely value like solitude and also my independence. So I ground myself after a big day of particularly recruitment with meditation. I do Kundalini yoga, so lots of breath work, lots of that kind of physical technology. And I have a very healthy, sometimes healthy curiosity for like the metaphysical. So anyway, I can find kind of clarity and stillness even when life is full. So yeah, when I'm with others, I love laughing, having a good time. I know how to have a good time, and I am very fun. I can be very fun. Getting a bit wild, getting up to mischief, love it. But when I'm at home by myself, I'm generally journaling, doing Kundalini, listening to something really dark and depressing, drinking tea, lighting a candle, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's kind of me. That's me personally anyway.
Wow. I've got so many things I want to ask you about, Cass. The first thing that really caught my curiosity that you were talking about is, that creativity that, I think it's probably a core way of being for you around creativity. And also that sensitivity to energy. And I'd love to ask you about the relationship between those two things and how you find they work together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I've always just been a really creative person. So really creative. So I would just go down rabbit holes in terms of art. I would spend afternoons on stuff. I would record things. I would mix things. I would paint things. Not that I was ever really good at painting. I would sing things. I play music. Like that's always been a really big part. What did you ask me about? What was the second thing? Creativity.
Energy.
Energy. Yeah, sure. So the combination of the two, it's just well, for me, they've always gone hand in hand. It becomes I'm very drawn energetically to people who are similar to me, who probably do have like a lot of that creative energy. And then I love that, the fact I'm a marketing recruiter and I have been for, 15, 20 years. And so there's a lot of that kind of lends itself to this job that I'm doing as well, where, and there has been obviously 15, 20 years of meeting, 10 people a week, 10 new people a week, between 10 and 20, probably new people a week. So it's very attuned. But putting those things together, I think has been the reason why I just love so much what I do, and sort of, matching people and matching energies together. But yeah, it's that creative essence as well, as how can I make this bigger and badder, and how can I be more, and how can I encourage people to use their voice in their career, to use their own creativity. So it's kind of like a big melting pot of all of that together.
So, Cass, I love kind of the idea of creativity, especially where it's doing things with your hands.
Yeah.
So for example, I did and I don't know if this counts as creativity. I think it does, but I did cheese making. I did silversmithing. I've done lots of things that are kind of creativity and using your hands, but I'm really shit at it.
Yeah.
What's your view of the relationship between like enjoying something and feeling like you're really kind of creative and use that? Oh, and pottery, I'm so bad at that. So bad at that, but I enjoy it. How does that fit into that kind of feeling about
Yeah.
creativity? Do you have to be good at something?
Oh my gosh, no. So I'm not good, like the creativity stuff with my hands. I've never been really that way inclined. So I like, unless it's in the kitchen.
Well,
That's
you
the
do
only
love
time
food.
I
Food
love
was on your
food.
list.
And yeah, I love food. And so therefore, like when I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking, yeah, great. That's like creativity that I feel like I'm like really physical with. Or it could be creativity, like I'm into yoga, I'm really into exercise. So then there's creativity in that as well. What playlist am I going to put on while I'm moving? So there, I do get that. But at the same time, I sometimes sit down with a journal and I will just write and write and write, or I will draw things, or I will make things like, and it like I look at it and go, that is such shit, but my God, I feel better.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to try and sell this online? Absolutely not. But I just feel so free and so relaxed. And it's just that process of getting stuff out and expelling negative energy in a physical way. And you can do that anyway, right? You can make cheese, you can do pottery, you can run, dance, make food, whatever that is. But it's just that releasing it. It's releasing it and getting it out. So it doesn't matter what it looks like.
So what words of advice would you have for someone who said, look, if I can't be really great at something, I'm not going to do it.
Um,
Do you know, kind of like that? I know that I can do it, and I like that creativity, but it's just not any good. Like me with pottery.
yeah, okay. This is interesting, because what happens if you just did it and then didn't worry about the actual tangible result, but you just focused on how it made you feel?
Mm.
So if you like, I mean, do you know what? Yoga was that for me. I am built like a fridge. I have the flexibility of a refrigerator, right? I'm a white good. So, but the reason I went and did yoga is because I find it so physically challenging. So, because my body just doesn't bend naturally that way. And I feel so wonderful after it, because it's completely out of my comfort zone. I'm sitting there, like people have got legs in all sorts of places that they shouldn't have legs, and I'm barely crossing mine. But it just, and you have to get over that too, right? You have to get over that whole, oh, look, yeah, I'm not good at this. I am, but I also like, it's humbling in a way, because there's going to be things, I know that there's some things that I am really good at, and that I would make other people feel that way when I'm doing them around them.
That's true.
Yeah. And so in that moment, you got to go, okay, this is just my time to be humbled.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, like, I love the feeling, and I'm sure that the feeling, the payoff that I get, it might be a little different to everyone else in the room, but it would still bring you that high. So I think you just got to focus on the feeling that you're going to get by trying something and getting out of your comfort zone and doing something that you think this could just be total rubbish. And then focusing on how that makes you feel afterwards. And if it makes you feel like shit, then you probably just don't do it again. Maybe that's just
Yeah.
something not for you. But I think it's all about the feeling. It's the
So does,
energy it gives you.
so does that mean that that concept of creativity is the joy of creativity in the process, not the outcome?
Totally. Yes, totally, totally. I'm sure I know I'm gonna use a food reference, but how many times I don't know how many times I've looked through all of my recipe books and gone, I'm gonna make this. And I've gone to Woolworths and spent like $100 on stuff that I'll probably only use once for this particular thing I'm making. And it'll all go in the pantry and then I'll throw it out in a week's time or a month's time, sometimes years' time. And then you make it and you go, oh my God, this is really terrible. But fuck, I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed doing it so much. And
Yes.
like I put on a playlist, I put on a podcast, put on a Rachmaninoff, and that's kind of going in the background. I've got the house to myself. I'm in the kitchen doing this, pushing myself out of this boundary, trying to put together flavors that I don't know if they're going to work. And you sometimes come out of it and just, yeah, it's the result's not exactly what you want, but you just feel I had a wonderful time doing it. I had a wonderful afternoon. So yeah, there's plenty of examples like that.
Random question. What is the weirdest food or flavor combination that you've ever done that has just been, this is amazing?
Oh my gosh. I probably haven't had that outcome with my own cooking ever.
And I love that you're still doing it.
I'll still go there. I'll still try and make some really wild stuff. But yeah, like I've tasted a lot of like strange things. We're pushing the boundaries and going eating at ridiculous restaurants.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's one thing that stands out. I went to this restaurant in Queenstown and we had this like it was a dessert and they had I don't know what the dessert looked like animal bones.
Ah.
And inside the animal bones, that was kind of like almost like a very really kind of pungent, but also very unusual tasting milk chocolate that they made on the outside. But when you chopped into it, it's like you hit a blood vessel in the animal bones, and
Wow.
this amazing kind of gel would come out.
It's like
And
theatrical.
it was theatrical and it was so real looking that unfortunately it kind of put and it like a lot of the people that I was with at the time were not foodies, not into food. So you can imagine some of the reactions around the table from, people that eat generally meat and three veg. But
Yeah.
this, I was like, oh my gosh, but even it was so realistic. The look of it was so realistic that it was kind of off-putting. But it was very, very interesting. It's probably the weirdest thing I've like come across in my pushing the boundaries with food.
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, something I really need to ask you about, you talked about your passions being the weather, and then
Yes.
sometimes the weather gets you high. I'm sorry, but I have to ask more about that.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Storms make me high. It's always been the case. I don't know. You feel, I don't know if like, I think that most people feel it. Maybe they just don't tune into it as much as I have throughout my entire 45 years on Earth. But that powerful, particularly in Queensland, that's like it's been hot all day and it's building,
Yes.
right? And you can feel it and you just know. You get that kind of air trough happening and then the temperature drops, the birds go quiet and you can see this like thing approaching from out west and like encroaching on the city. And it just puts me in the most incredible mood. I feel like I could, run a race or do a backflip. I just get really lifted up by it.
Like power, that kind of.
Yeah, it's like a really positive charged energy.
Yeah.
And I just makes me feel really alive. Like I love it. So any time that there's a storm coming, if anyone says there's a storm or I look at the bomb, there's a storm, I will instantly be in a good mood. It will instantly pick me up and I'll just feed on it all day.
Is that you're feeding on the expectation that it's coming, or are you actually feeding on the
Feeding on the energy of it.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's so charged. It's and then of course, as soon as the storm comes, it's like dumps all this rain and typical Queensland Brisbane storm, it's like comes over the city and then just goes. And it's just leaves this whole beautiful, clear, calm, might be a bit of rain, temperature drops, might get a bit of a southerly change, like whatever happens, it's like it's just there's this instant shift in everything that's kind of happened in the build up before. I love it. I love it. I live for it. Love storm season. I've got a chat, a WhatsApp chat of all my storm chaser friends, and we just send stuff to each other when it gets.
Are they all in Brisbane, or are they in various parts of the globe?
Out. Anyone who's into it will be on the bomb from early in the day, just watching the storms.
Yeah, checking it out.
Yeah.
And now, on a related question, have you ever like chased a serious storm, or are you normally kind of like in the comfort of your home, out the back on the couch with a beer, watching the
Generally, storm? I'm a bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to stuff like that, but I would love to, like, it's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to be one of those people that, you know, goes, and I think honestly, it probably did stem. Like, I watched like most people would have in their early childhood, I watched and got very scared of, and then just became and completely in awe of the Wizard of Oz. So anything like that, any of that kind of material, any kind of thematic things that sort of come out of that movie, I love. But it's always made, I think that the whole thing about the tornado and being taken away to another, you know, realm. I would love to go and chase a tornado somewhere in the Midwest in America. That would just
or the Gold Coast, because didn't we have one a couple of years ago?
And we're having a few, like there was one here. There was one on the Brisbane River not that long ago. So they are happening. The weather, as you know, the world is changing. The weather is changing. It's fascinating. But yeah, I think we're going to see more. We're going to have bigger storms as a result. But I would love to go over to the Midwest and chase a storm. That would be such a bucket list item.
Now, I want to ask you about when you were telling us about you at the beginning of the podcast. Yeah. What I sensed was that you are a person of great contradiction, seeming contradiction, where, you are an extreme extrovert, but you fiercely value solitude.
Yeah.
I'd love to just know a little bit more about how those seeming contradictions work in practice.
Yeah, for sure. It's just balance. Like I have a really a core value for me, and I've even got tattoos that are about this, is polarity. I've got a two crosses on my arm, the one that's right way up, one that's the other way up, to symbolize this. And I've wanted them. I'm a person that got tattoos when I was in my early 40s, and I thought about them in typical Cass fashion with this sort of thing. I thought about it so much to the point where I then felt naked without them. So I went and got them. But it was, this whole thing about polarity is just fascinating, because for me, I just have to have this, it's this balance. And I'm an extremist at both sides. And everything always comes down. I have to remind myself that in order to have balance, you have to have polarity. If in order to have good, you must have evil. In order to have black, you must have white. Like it has to be this balance. And I am like that in so many different ways. And there's so many things that are contradictory about me. And therefore, like, there's so many, like, I'm that person in the group too that will have like ridiculously eclectic friends. I'm so drawn to people who are really different to me, or really similar to me. And people will think, how are you two friends? How is this happening? Who know me and the other person. I think, there's just some connection there that's, really been built. So it's, and the two together, I can't have one without the other. And I've really discovered that more since being, like, I've been single now for 6 years, and it's just been, I have just flourished in my time because I've been able to have that time to myself and really kind of ground and re-energize and put a lot of the things that I have in place around Kundalini and breathwork and all of that, so that I can be this person when I'm at work, when I'm with others, so I'm just on, so I'm super, super present. The two, they just go hand in hand, and I am so much better when I have both working together with me.
I think there's something incredible in that embracing of opposites, and that it's okay for you to be, it's okay for you to be yin and yang.
Yeah,
that's okay. And I think a lot of times We kind of feel like we need to be one way and push down the other way so that we can be consistent with the way that people are experiencing us. But we can't be whole ourselves unless we
No.
embrace both sides of of the equation, if you like.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there is like those parts of you in, like, there's that in all of us. And I think in being able to show up when you do present yourself to the world, you present yourself to others and you show up. If you
Yeah.
haven't massaged that in the background and given yourself time and space, given, time to those different areas of you, like that's when it sort of falls apart. And I think that's what I did when I was a lot younger. I would show up hard on my sleeve. This is how I'm feeling, and this is what's happening in this moment. So therefore, everyone else is going to be feeling what I'm feeling at that time.
Yeah.
And since I've learned how to balance that out in my own personal life, my background, as I've got older and, become a bit wiser and been in situations and had relationships and friendships, etc., it just teaches you that, right, that's how you do it. That's how you show up and be present, is that you do all of this nice work in the background to make sure that all those different parts of you have been heard.
It's very poignant, Cass.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask, if you looked up marvelous woman in the dictionary, whose face
Yeah.
might you see?
Whose face? That's a good question. I think it's like there would be more of a theme than an actual person, I think. So someone that's sort of, fiercely independent, fiercely authentic. So, and not like without sort of idolizing public figures, I guess, because, public figures, you see people it'd probably be more people that I really know.
Well, as you say, public figures, going back to our previous conversation, you might not be seeing the yin and the yang.
No, exactly.
One side.
You see what you want, what they want you to see.
Yeah.
Like anyone public, but actually there is one person. There's one person that sort of stands out. Someone like Tilda Swinton, right? Who's just unapologetically herself and doesn't care about trends. She makes everything feel intentional and just a little bit weird.
And intense.
Intense
and intentional.
Yeah. And there's nothing. I love how kind of androgynous she is. I love that she's like, yeah, she just shows up, and I know how much she divides people, right? And her style and how she presents. And I love that, because if you don't divide people, then, what's the point? Of course, I don't think you're really being yourself unless there's something that's going to be divisive with how you present yourself to others.
Yeah, it's almost like if you don't make people feel something, they'll feel nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you just fairy floss,
Or it's like a zucchini.
Yeah.
You're there and it's good for you. But it doesn't really have any flavor.
But you don't taste like anything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. You suck the flavor out of anything else that you're with.
That's right. That's what you're there for. You're just there to kind of pick up other people's flavor.
Bulk.
Yes.
Pick it up. Fiber.
So it's just, it's those people that do, like, the other thing is like the theme, it'd be those people who do hard things quietly is also just so inspiring. Yeah. So just those, like the ones that just keep showing up after setbacks. There's no need to parade about it, but just, right, yep, cool, lesson learned, I'm back. Yeah, great, I'll take that on board, I'll leave that, but I'm back. Or like women who have like reinvented themselves. I think that is just so, like, after being kind of underestimated or in a controlled kind of situation, or in having been in a situation where they just haven't been able to be themselves, like someone that you can come back and just here I am, here it is. I just think that's so
I'm back.
Yeah, and I'm really inspired by women who can do that.
I love that. So are there any quotes or advice, and they might be someone else's and they might be your own, is there anything like catchphrases that you find yourself either thinking or speaking on a regular basis that might be inspiring for our listeners?
I am someone that is a real deliverer. Like I love I like an action person. I'm an action person. So there's a quote I don't know who said this or if I just heard it somewhere. I think I might have heard it at a conference. How you do anything is how you do everything. Like, I love that. I just think it's all in the how. And it's
Yeah.
just about getting in, getting started, and just getting through it and seeing what
Yes.
comes out the other side. And honestly, that just keeps me honest. I'm trying to think where I heard it. I think it was a conference or someone, or like a keynote in a conference. But it just like, that's really stuck with me.
And I think that speaks to your how drawn you are towards authenticity,
Yeah, yeah.
towards that polarity. And I think that, you know, one of the things that you said very early in this chat was you talked about um, this concept of, you know, being beautifully strange.
Mm,
I absolutely love that.
yeah.
I think that is just the bomb. And I'd like you to tell me a little bit more about, like, how do you define that? And if you could, this is totally off script, if there was like a metaphor that you could use to describe what beautifully strange means for you, what would it be?
um, well, I think there's something strange, something wild, something that we might perceive as weird or a little unorthodox in all of us, right? Like there's always going to be a part of that. And then some people are happy to show the world that and others aren't. I'm very happy. I particularly, gosh, in the last sort of 6 years, I've been very happy to show the world that, and I have stopped caring about what anyone thinks about that, because again, that's your secret, right? That's your
Yeah.
secret source. That's what draws people in, and that's what pushes the people that are probably not for you anyway out.
Yes.
So yeah, it's that embracing that part and being brave enough to go, here's this really weird twisted part of me. Do you want to see it? It's cool, but you might not like it. And if you don't, that's fine.
Don't hide your
So
weird. Is that what
don't
you're
hide
saying?
it. Yes. Or like, this kind of, we've all got um like our own, from whatever we've been through, wherever we've collected, whatever we're inspired by, whatever we're attracted to, whatever we're turned on by, like whatever that might be, it's going to be completely different. So rather than just having like the vanilla, why not show some of that and see, and then kind of feel like, give people the opportunity to feel the energy from it. And I think you'd be surprised at how that affects some people and how it affects others, and what kind of a positive kind of feedback you will get from being able to do that.
Yeah.
Like it's a great feeling to be able to go, here's me with all of my weirdness, and I'm okay if you don't like that. I'm okay
Yeah.
if that makes you uncomfortable.
I love that. I love that. I love your weird, Cass.
Yeah,
I think you're
thanks.
weird. Your weird is fab.
Yeah, there's a fair bit in there. Yeah, there's a fair bit under the surface. um
We are out of time, Cass, but I want to thank you so much for sharing your weirdness and your beautiful strangeness with us today on the
oh
podcast.
my
I
God,
really
such a pleasure.
appreciate
That
it.
went so quickly. Yeah.
I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Marvelous Women, the podcast with Cass Barker. So, some key things that I'm taking out are, where are my polarities? Where are the seeming contradictions in me that actually make me me? Where are yours? Until next time, stay marvelous.